Good morning, I'm Jessica Fligge, a nurse practitioner at Mille Lacs Health System. We're here at Teal's this morning to talk about healthy grocery shopping and food choices that you can make every day to make your life a little bit easier, make your health a little bit better. I like to start grocery shopping in this section. This is where all the fresh produce is. I try and keep the vegetable options kind of open to see what's on sale. For example, peppers are on sale this week, so that's a great additive for any recipe. You can quarter them and throw them either in the oven or on the grill. Brush them with a little olive oil and just eat them like that. I like to do the same thing with carrots. Carrots are an easy thing to have in stock. They're usually pretty cheap. Bring them home, clean them up so that they're ready to go. What I like to do is I like to clean my carrots and then quarter them and keep them in a baggie in the fridge. All right, moving on to the outside of the grocery store. We're in the dairy section here. We're going to talk just a little bit about yogurt. Yogurt's an easy snack, easy filler. When you're picking out yogurt, finding the ones that have a lot of sugar, reading the back of the label, looking at how much sugar. For example, this one has 20 grams of sugar in this container. If we go and pick out, let's go with this Oikos, 5 grams of sugar in this container. So one versus the other is definitely different. This one also has a little bit more protein. There's lots of options to pick from. Paying attention to the back of the label, which one has sugar, which one has a little more protein that's going to keep you a little bit full a little bit longer, can be really helpful. We're here in the frozen vegetable section. Frozen vegetables are a great way to get those veggies in as well. They're easy to keep pre-prepared. They come pre-cut. You keep a bunch in your freezer. I like to keep broccoli, Brussels sprouts, and cauliflower, occasionally beans in the freezer. You can make them the same way you make the fresh vegetables. Just toss them in a little bit of olive oil with some garlic powder. Put them in the oven for 20 minutes at 400. The other thing I like to do is keep the frozen vegetables, the mixed vegetables, on hand as well. Mixed vegetables are great to throw into hot dishes. You can add them to your soups. And it just adds a little bit extra nutrition into whatever it is that you're making. What I'd like to point out with coffee creamer is there's a lot of sugar in coffee creamer. So while most of you are going to like coffee creamer in your coffee, just remember to look at the back of that label. See how much sugar. This has 5 grams of sugar in one serving, which is 1 tablespoon. So 5 grams of sugar in 1 tablespoon of this is equal to 1 container of yogurt, which is kind of a lot. So add the creamer, but remember to keep track of it during the day so that you're not just adding a half a cup of coffee creamer to your 1 cup of coffee. We're in the canned soup section. So canned soups are great for quick meals. You can add them to hot dishes. You can also add them, just warm up your soup for a lunch. What I'd like to draw attention to is the different kinds of soups that are available. So we have unsalted cream of mushroom soup. There's 2.5 servings in each can, and each serving has 50 milligrams of sodium. So even though it's unsalted, the ingredients have a little salt naturally. When you move on to the 25% less sodium, this can, also 2.5 servings, has 640 milligrams of sodium in it. And the regular cream of mushroom soup, just plain, also 2.5 servings, is 860 milligrams of sodium per serving. So for each can, you need to double that amount if you're using the whole can, or double and a half for the amount of sodium that's in there. So again, when we're talking about things like blood pressure, really paying attention to that sodium content in your food to lower that as much as you can. So choosing the unsalted option and adding a little bit of your own salt if you need to is going to be a better option than buying the pre-salted canned version. All right, continuing on the middle of the store, another easy thing that is very common is to add these pre-prepared sides with your meals. These are great options. They're easy to make. The one thing I would like to draw your attention to is to pay attention to the back of the label. For example, these are real easy to grab. You can make your stir fry and pop this in the microwave, put it down, put your stir fry on top of it. But one bag of this has 520 milligrams of sodium. One thing that you can do to make this a little easier for yourself, make it a little bit healthier, is make it yourself. You can make it ahead, put it in the fridge. So make it on Saturday, Sunday, when you have time, put it in the fridge, it's ready to go, and you don't have all the sodium. You can buy all of the ingredients probably right in the same section here, and just have it prepared. You can also pop them in the freezer. They'll last for a couple months if you make them ahead, make your own ahead in the freezer, put it in there, then all you have to do is pull it out. You don't have to think about making it from scratch, but it is actually made from scratch. All right, just a quick recap on nutrition labels, a couple things to point out. When you're looking at the label, first you wanna look at the serving size. So this is 1.5 cups. Most people will not pay attention to that. They look at the calories, they pour it in, or they eat it and don't pay attention to actually how much the serving size is. 1.5 cups is a full handful, and a little bit of a handful is about 1.5 cups. The next thing you want to look at is the calorie content in that. This one has a label for dry and with milk. The next section is the fat section. The really, really fatty foods, probably not a great option. Try and look for options that have a little bit less fat in them. Total carbohydrates and sugar are going to be in this section down here, and looking to see how much is in a serving. 60 grams of carbohydrate is a meal. We talked a lot about sodium, so looking for that sodium content in here and paying attention to how much sodium is in that serving and finding options that have a little bit less sodium. All right, we'd like to thank you for grocery shopping with us today. Thank you to Teal's for letting us use their store. Just a reminder, you don't need to eat specialty foods. You don't need to make fancy foods. Making 1 or 2 changes a week and just paying attention to what it is you're putting in your mouth. Coming up with a menu for the week and preparing everything ahead of time can really make a difference in your health.